What's up? This is Dominique. We're going to be talking about topics in relationship with Open Enough to Listen. We have Drea here.
Hey.
Daddy, let's turn around. Daddy, can I have Daddy? I will have candy.
All right. All right. So,
Daddy,
Drea,
Daddy,
so let's see.
Daddy.
How are you today?
I will have
I'm doing pretty good. How about you? Thank you for inviting me on your show.
Of course, of course. I'm going to do it on myself. All right. So, hate to keep everybody waiting. So, we're going to be, first question for you, Drea, is going to be, do women keep other women single?
You're going to put me on the spot. I think there's a lot of ways to answer this question. Um, I think that I think you could say yes and no. Um, I want to say that a lot of times women are single because we do have support systems within each other. And so we definitely can be one another's cheerleaders and being able to help one another be okay with being single. Um, and then also as women, n- as generations go on, women are now seeing that they don't have to be the traditional woman and get married right away, have kids, or have a family. And so some women are choosing to stay single longer because maybe they're focusing on their careers and so forth. So sometimes your support system may be kind of on that same page. On the flip side, there is times where women can keep other women single depending on your circle. If you have a circle that um, isn't the best kind of circle, like maybe you have people in your circle that are bitter and they're always trying to either bash men or say why we don't need them and stuff like that. It can sometimes taint your thoughts and desire to be in a relationship. But I really honestly think it just depends on your circle, and it's not always a bad thing if the women do help each other stay single because I don't look at it as saying, oh, you don't need a man. And I said there is a lot of women out there that feel that way, but a lot of times it's just women empowering other women to be okay with being single and loving themselves because women will take trips together. Women will plan, dates with one another. And so I think in that positive sense, it can keep women from feeling like they need to go find a man to occupy their time or do these things with one another. With another, I guess there's a yes and no answer to that, but if we keep it positive, it could be in a positive way, not so much bashing.
Did you hear me?
I did now. I had lost you. I didn't see your
Oh,
face for a long time.
oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. I said when it comes to women, so when like the person's in a relationship and they say, well, I'm able to do this, like I'm able to go out, and the other person that's in a relationship that's not, or oh, he's telling you to do this. Well, I'm free. You shouldn't have to do this because he's trying to control you based off from him telling you what to do.
Okay, so in those type of situations, I really think that it depends on the actual woman and what her values are and what it is that she truly wants. Oftentimes, people sway to what other people say when they're unsure about their own situation and their own insecurities. As far as like the second scenario where you said, um, like he's controlling you because he won't let you do this, and that. Um, there could be so many different levels to that. Let's say the person really is controlling and there's like something going on that's unhealthy and this has been going on for years. Then, yeah, your friends, just like men, are going to be like, hey, that one ain't, something's not right here, things like that. And so we're going to support each other. Then, of course, you may have the bitter woman who is always anti single, because maybe she's unhappy. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that particular woman is going to sway away, um, whether they need to or whether they are because of a friend. A lot of times it really depends on what it is within yourself and what it is you truly and wholeheartedly want out of a relationship. Um, if it is abusive, then that's another story. If it's not, then the person could be better. Otherwise, it really depends on what you want to do because there's some women who actually prefer to be around their man and go places with their man and do things with their man. And I do feel that healthy relationships, people can do things separate and together, which is why we all should have a support system.
Would you agree that the support system should be your family, mentor? How do you think that will navigate? Because at times I think family can sometimes make things a little messy when it comes to relationships based on, if you were to have an argument and you was to give information to someone, and regardless of the information you give, let's say they work it out, your family's going to choose your side anyway, then they're going to be looking at the other person funny. So how do you navigate that?
Okay, so when it comes to family, family can be really complicated, but it also depends on how close you are to your family and who you truly consider your family, right? So some people may consider their family their friends because that
Mm,
could be like who they see the most. Um, some people, a lot of people, their family could be their cousins, their brothers, their sisters, their moms, their dads, their grandmas, whatever. Um, but let's keep in mind that anytime we choose to speak on our relationship to anyone, whether it's our family or our friends, and we choose to speak on it negatively, like negative, and not also speak on the positive, then we are already swaying our family to one direction. Um, and yeah, family is going to take your side uh, for the most part. Uh, I think that sometimes our family takes our side because maybe we're not being honest with the situation. And a lot of times people only tell one side of things
mm.
versus the whole side of it. And oftentimes, if you told both sides of the story, you may be surprised who your family may actually sway with. Now, there comes a thing of loyalty. A lot of times, our loyalty is going to be to our family. So, whether we agree with the decision you made, your family still may sit there and be like, "Nah, you was foul for that." But you know what? I got your back. Whatever way you want to ride is how you want to ride. Um, Now, if you do start having them a negative thing, you're going to either have those family members who are going to keep their mouth shut when you bring them to the family parties, and they going to sit there and just like and talk amongst themselves when no one's listening. You hope, right? Or they may take some side digs. Or you're going to take the you're going to have the certain family member who will be like, "Oh hell no, why is they here?" Type of thing. So then, is it going to cause more problems within the relationship? Absolutely. Um, Hopefully those problems are addressed at home and maybe they can learn from that, or maybe they need to figure out where the person went wrong for even sharing certain things about what's going on in the relationship. I'm not saying you shouldn't share, but I think that all of us need to figure out who sharing with, who we should and should not share with, if that makes sense. So, because like I come from a big family, do I want to tell my mom every little thing that happens in my relationship or my sister or a cousin? Probably not, because they may talk to each other. I may more likely talk to my friends about it, just because that can be more of a controlled environment because I don't necessarily always have to take my friends around them, right? It's kind of like this. Like I was in a relationship before and I remember the guy that I was dating, I went to say something like that happened at it, like when me and my friends went out and he stopped me and was like, I don't even want to know because I may have to see your friends one day and I want to have to look at them some kind of way, right? So I'm like,
Mm.
I felt that. I felt that, right? So unfortunately, in our family, we want to be supportive. So we're not always going to get that. So sometimes in our mind, we got to slow ourselves down because it definitely can cause conflict. But I think it cause conflict regardless. Anyone that's close to you and cares about you is always going to care what's going on.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
and I
agree
think
with
that's
that.
sometimes, and I think a lot of times things that get to us is either stuff that we are embarrassed about that we allowed to happen to us, or that we haven't forgiven ourselves for getting ourselves in that situation. And sometimes when we feel foolish because of, or we lean to what someone else thinks that we should do versus what we know we should do, it's because we have some type of embarrassment or our ego or pride, might be in the way. And we rather, our family member or our friend to be like, oh, yeah, you stronger than that versus being like, yeah, I messed up. Or, yeah, we shouldn't have had this conversation. Maybe he shouldn't have said that, but maybe I should talk to him more about it. And what people think of us can really sway us a lot. And I think that's with whether a man or a woman.
Okay. I like how you pretty much brought all the different perspectives. So it wasn't just one. I was dope.
It's probably the social worker in me.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so like this is an interesting question. So as far as men feeling, do you think men feel entitled to sex after paying for dates or vacations? You went first and last one. I'll take this and then I'll let you
Yeah,
go ahead and
yeah, this
elaborate
is
from your side.
that's an interesting question. Okay, yeah, go first. Go first.
Okay, so from I would say from a male's perspective, feeling entitled uh for sex after paying for dates or vacation, I would say no, but keeping it 100, yes, it's probably in the back of our mind though. Especially if like we feeling the person and we think about whatever things we went to make that date or whatever possible, it's probably in the back of our mind. But at the end of the day, I know that the power will be in your hands. So it's all be based off of you, but I don't think it's expected. I think in the back of the mind, it's just like, yeah, I hope I'll be able to. You get what I'm saying? But if not, it's another day. But I know some guys probably feel like, no, it's mandatory because I paid for this and paid for that. So I think it varies based off of the person and probably the women that they've attracted that they're used to, because maybe some women that they was attracted to, that's what it was, so that was kind of the expectation for them.
So I think that that's a really good answer. I think this can be really complicated because this is probably how people have been date raped in the past, right? Or been forced to feel uncomfortable to do something they want to do.
Mm.
And it's actually a really good combo to have because it also depends on, okay, are we married and you're taking me on our vacation? Are we in a long-term relationship? You take me on a vacation. I think that in the sense that's almost like a norm that that's going to happen, right? Versus just starting to date someone. I think one of the biggest misconceptions, or not even misconception, but one of the biggest lack of communication is probably in this space. I would say in my younger days, in my mind, I probably thought if he spent so much money on me, he's going to expect this, or he's going to want to do this, or something like that. I think that's why a lot of women, we, not to give our secrets out, ladies, but if you're a woman dating, especially in 2024, I mean, even back before we even had cell phones, me and my friends always gave the information to one of our friends knew who we was with, where we was going, if we was in their car or if we was meeting them there, whatever we knew about them when we first started to date, only because of safety. Would I say it's because they paid for us? No, I think that it's something we've had to learn for safety within ourselves because of things that can happen. I in my 20s, there was times where dating, I might be like, oh, if he spent this or he did this, he may want this. But on the flip side, it's about boundaries. If you don't put yourself in a predicament, whether you guys went on a date or not, um, to go back to his house or go here or go there, then I think that that kind of can take those thoughts away. As far as entitlement, I don't know if I would say that a man feels entitled. He he could feel like almost like an obligation, that the woman may feel like an obligation due to how the man acts. But realistically, it's about communication. Hey, I'm gonna meet you there, or um, I'm not having sex with you no time soon. This is, I want to get to know you. That's where those kind of conversations, that way everybody's on the same page. I think that it's a natural instinct to have hopes. Um, I have friends who are celibate. When they date, they say straight out, like, I'm here to get to know someone. I'm not doing, having sex till marriage, right? So now it's up to the man to make a decision. Does he want to spend that money? Does he want to court her? Does he want to do these things? It's already up front. Someone who hasn't had that conversation, yeah, it's a possibility in the back of their head. And I'm sure us as women always think that they may want that, but it's our job to speak on it if we feel that way, or asking for clarification is, what are your intentions with taking me out? That way we don't feel some kind of way. And also this way, that man also has a choice to decide, does he even want to take me still?
So, mm, but on the flip side, this
Hmm.
is the ugly side to it. Some guys, their attention, that it may be that, but they may not tell you because
Of
they're
course.
not trying to burn the bridges. So even if, like, you say your intention is what it is, and you let the guy, oh, okay, that's not what, but in the back of his mind, that it kind of is. Like I said, it's all based off of the guys, because all guys aren't like that. Some guys have interior motives. Some guys just be wanting to, okay, I want to go on a date because I've been working on it. They're not even thinking, about that, but it's all based off
Yeah,
of the person.
true. And it bases off of the vibes that the woman gives too, right? So we can give the wrong vibes to the man and make him feel like, there's an opportunity, or we may have some insecurities within ourselves to feel like we have an obligation. I think sometimes I think sometimes the question is, yeah, does a man feel entitled? But does the woman feel obligated? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of go hand in hand. Is when we all are with the secure within ourselves, we move differently and we think differently. But
Right.
on the flip side, I think that for a woman's safety, we would be silly to go into something thinking that they may not want or try something after for doing these things. But that's where we have to find ways to protect ourselves or learn to trust, or whatever the case may be. For the man, like you said, he has to be okay with getting it or not getting it. Um, and no one's really going to know someone's intentions until they get to know them. And actions and words always need to match. So,
That's very true. That's very
yeah.
true because some people play off of words, and the crazy. So this is kind of sidebar, but when it comes to words, some people, they've been told words so much, so even when the actions come, they don't know how to handle it because it's different than what they're used to, and depending on a person. they might not be receptive to your actions because they've been used to words. Or if you're not used to words, but you're showing the person, they're gonna say, "Well, why are you not telling me?" But it's just like I'm doing more than that other person did, because I'm not just talking about. I'm being about it. So it all
Yeah,
varies.
it really does. And I think that, like you said, side note, but everybody's always taught, oh, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. I think that when people's actions and words don't match, there's some conflict somewhere. Because I could totally sit there and be like, nah, we not together. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to other people. And I could be rocking with you every day, every month, you know what I mean, for months at a time, but still be making moves elsewhere. And my actions are showing you something completely different. My actions is like, we rocking together. We like this, right?
Right,
But my
right.
words are still telling you, like, no, we not, no, we not, no, we not.
Mm,
Which one are you going to follow? It's a natural instinct. You hear the words, but your feelings, your emotions, your connections are probably going to follow those actions. And then that's where the conflict comes later, is because when that person actually acts on the words they're saying, someone's
mm,
going to be upset. So I just personally feel you got to, now, if you speak on something, then your actions should follow that. If you speak on something, you haven't done it, then
mm.
it's like, oh, okay, well, your words are telling me all they need to tell me. But again, there's some conflict going on in here. Like you said, be about it, speak about it, move on it, be about it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So what do you think, like, when it comes to women more likely to trade sex for financial security?
You got some good questions today. Okay, so I have a big circle of friends, and I also volunteer and facilitate groups for women who are rehabilitating themselves and trying to strengthen themselves. So I have a lot of different insights on this. Um, I think a lot of times, a lot of us have little jokes like, oh, we're going to find us a rich man. Oh, we're going to find us a man where we don't have to work as much. Um, I don't know if I would say trade sex for it. I will say that I made a comment, and I'll never forget it because I made this lady so angry. I was in college and I was a single mom and I was young and I was still working on my bachelor's degree. And then there was this lady who was married, didn't have to work. Her husband paid for everything while she went through school, this, and that. And she made a comment about like being a single parent and, how the woman can't do this. And she was just like going in on different things. And I was just kind of looking at her. And then they started talking about prostitution and stuff like that. And I was like, so what's the difference between you being a stay-at-home mom, or not even a mom, she wasn't a mom then, stay-at-home wife, paying no bills, dependent on a man, and you're still having to give him sex every day. And yeah, he's paying for your school. So what did you sell for that? And
Mm,
the whole class was like, what the? And everybody's like, well, she's married, so that's okay. And it's like, okay, but what is everyone's beliefs? Where an independent woman who stands strong, who's like, I can do it myself. I don't need, him for this, and that. They gonna do their hardest. Where another woman may sit there and say, I'm not sexually selling myself for financial security. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do for my man because a man is supposed to lead and provide for his woman. Now, however, my duty as a woman falls in place from that is how our morals or our relationship works, if that makes sense. Is so it could be a little bit of both, depending how you look at it. Is are they really trading it for sex for financial security, or are they doing what a woman was back in the day once told to, that it's okay to do, is it's okay for a man to provide. Now, if you're looking for women who are out there to get over on a man, yeah, you're going to find those ones where it's like, girl, he just invited me to this steakhouse on our first date, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna get him sexually whooped and I'm gonna take his pockets. Right. So in that sense, yeah, there's always gonna be someone who's trying to come up on someone, but that's not always generally the thing. Is we got to remember that those words come together and people can really take that the wrong way, depending on what situation you're in. Trade sex for financial security. I don't know. Sex comes with marriage. Sex comes with long-term relationships, right? So some people may be smart and actually find that person, or lucky. I shouldn't say smart, but some may find that lucky man who could provide for them. So
I mm, I would agree to disagree on that. I think
okay,
I think when it comes to it, this is my opinion. When it comes
okay,
to the social media, I think that's been pushing, kind of what the rappers or female rappers are pushing, like
okay,
get the bag. And so
yeah.
I think with the young generation, it's not even about relationships anymore. It's about getting the bag. Oh, he got XYZ, or this how much. Oh, I'm trying to get a car. So it's not. It just eliminates the whole relationship aspect to for marriage, kind of like how it was back then. Now it's like they just chasing the money, and it's not even about you know, oh man, this guy was nice. It's just, well, okay, he got this much money. We about to be going on vacations. He about to, do extra. So it's just like that's one side. I'm not saying they're more likely,
No.
but I do think there's a percentage of women that what they quote unquote say is chase the bag.
So if we put it in that perspective, absolutely. If we're putting it in like social media settings, if we're putting it in that type of content, even outside of social media, let's think about it. How have strippers made their money? Right? They
Mm,
use their looks, their dancing, their way to tease a man to get them to make their pockets fat, right?
mm,
So that's been going on forever and a day. So yes, women have always been considered as this sex symbol. And I think that it's been natural for women to know that depending on how good they look, how good their body is, how much money they really could make or get from someone. And there is, yes, a lot of women out there who are going to use their bodies and their looks to get what they want. And I think that now that social media has been around, it's been getting worse and worse because there's so many people doing different things to their bodies to do that, to make themselves more of a sex symbol. Some do it
mm,
because it makes them feel more secure, and maybe they're not doing it for a sex symbol. They're doing it just so they can feel good about themselves.
mm.
But a lot of women, and especially when you're young and you're still learning to value yourself, yes, they are definitely using their bodies as a sex symbol to make money or and possibly could trap somebody, right? Trap the right man, have a kid by them. You hear some of these women who think about it. If we really want to put it out there, think about how many women have gotten pregnant by a married man who is an athlete or an actor or whatever the case may be. These women knew what they were doing. Like you said, they were trying to secure that bag. Yeah, they got a kid out of it, but what better way to secure a bag if they're not gonna marry you, right? Otherwise, they're gonna go out there and use their body and get any way possible for someone to pay, and it almost becomes like a job. If you think about it, it almost becomes a job. Like
That's
I'm
true.
using what I have, what I was given, what I may have created on myself for somebody else to give me money, and now the money can come from the same sex. So now that's really out there and relevant. So
Good point. Good point. I guess I'll go first. So this is for me. It says based on past relationships, what are some things women women feel could do to make a man more appreciated? Um, I would say really peace, paying attention to us as men, because we don't really want much. Well, I'll say I don't really want much. Just more so peace. Um, the time, little time that I do have, and just recognize, what I do, or be affirmative or affirming, the things that I'm doing to motivate me to continue to push. Because I could already motivate myself, but just the encouraging words, or if I'm having a bad day, like, hey, I did this for you. Something as small as when you walk in the door, just, hey, I'm gonna give you a hug for, just for coming in. I'll make your dinner. Just something in the sense to make you feel appreciated on just your regular day. And I think obviously it goes vice versa for the female, but I think appreciation is an understatement that I don't think women don't get when it comes to us, but I think it also has to do with we don't voice it. So we won't voice, man, I want you to appreciate me more. We kind of like we kind of want you to do it without saying it. And it's like
So
getting us to go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Getting us to open up to be more vulnerable. Now that's pretty much the biggest thing, because then you will allow us to be able to talk and let us express how we feel when it comes to being appreciated, wanting to be loved, because we could be stoic at times. Now, obviously, the woman can get us out of that nature, but we have to know that we feel comfortable and feel at peace to be able to explain things to you. Because if we don't, we're probably going to shut down, or we just going to go through the motions. But if you are, you know, if you are letting us be able to speak without either interrupting or getting upset with us, or yelling at us or putting us down based off of whatever we said, I think that would be a safe place for us to open, because a lot of times we want to talk, but the sad thing is when it comes to men, for the most part, when you do that one time, that is sad. There's one time, but we'll be like, nope, we'll shut down, and it's not right. That's something that we work on, but that's one of the things that I would say when it comes to that, and wanting to feel more. So what are you gonna say? I'm sorry.
So I think you made a lot of good points, and it's funny that you say that because I feel like the older you get, um, the more that women kind of learn more about men and men learn more about women. And I've been hearing it's so funny because they always say that women require so much more than a man, and then a man is pretty simple, right? I've had a lot of my male friends, and I have a lot of guy friends that are like legit close guy like friends, and that's a lot of things that they say is like they want peace and that they're really simple. It's like feed me, give me sex, chill out, hang out with me, don't let me have my time, stuff like that. Like it's pretty simple. Um, I think that um, one of the things that I think is hard to sometimes for women to understand is what is your piece, right? Everybody's piece might look different. Someone's piece might be like, can I just play my video game for a few hours with you not saying nothing? That gives me peace. That's my stress reliever. Can I just watch this sporting event, either sit here with me and do that? And the man might be perfectly happy with you sitting there because that's their companionship, where the woman might sit there and be like, I'm I want to do something else, right? Um, I think it comes to learning the person you're with, but I do, especially raising a son. I think it's very important that women should understand that men do have feelings and emotions, and they do need to be nurtured at times, and they do need to know that they are appreciated, that they are loved, that the little things they may have did, recognize those things. It doesn't take but a second to say thank you, or I appreciate you, or this is great that you did this for me. And I think that that needs to be shared more because, like you said, you guys present so like, whatever. it's all good. We're good. We don't need to hear it. But really, you do. Because if you watch men together with their homies, if they got the right set of homies, they be like, man, you just did that. I see you. You know, you guys
Right.
praise each other in other words. You know, a woman might come up to you and give you the tightest hug, like, you did that. You did that. You know, um, and so it's something that needs to be talked about because I feel that the more that you men are nourished, then the more that you guys feel okay, like you said, to be vulnerable, that you guys feel okay to be grieving and speak on it, to shed a tear because it's part of life, to not be okay, like to know that it's okay to not be okay, but to have a safe place. And that's where your woman should often be there, is to be your safe space. I just think that sometimes the communication becomes very hard and the resistance can come at times because the man can shut down or, like you said, interrupt one time or make me feel like you didn't care one time. You guys can shut down, and it's so hard to then break that barrier. And then you start getting a lot more of this, where a woman, you could keep on with them, right? And they're going to come right back like, you just having a bad day. Let me try again and say what I was saying, type of thing. You guys are like action, we're like verbal. So you guys say less. And sometimes we also have to understand that you said what you need to say. And that now it's like, okay, I hear you. Let me give you a hug. Instead of making you guys explain more, sometimes we need to hear what you said within the simple words you said. So it's just about communication. But I do truly feel that as society in general, we really need to pour more into you men because you guys have a hard time out there in life, especially brown and black men. I think that you guys hit society so different, and your days can struggle a lot more emotionally and mentally. And then it can take a physical toll. And sometimes you just need to be able to come home and, like you said, have that safe space, but also feel like you can share what you need to share without being looked down upon. And we should make you feel appreciated and remind you how great you are so you can go back out in the world.
No, that's good. That's real good. I would say so when you had said the piece as far as different video games, those are I would say those are outlet, but to kind of give a better definition of peace, like from a man's perspective, is so when we come home, or let's say we come, it's just I'm able to relieve everything from the outside world and be able to come to you or come to the house where I don't have to worry about anything. I can just enjoy my sanctum. I can enjoy, my home. And daughter
Breaking.
is my peace
Right.
because, granted, she or want much, but it's just like she can make me happy when I'm having a bad day. To me, that's a peace or a joy that I would say that it's nice to walk into and see your face or see you at the door, and it's just like, I had a bad day, but forget that bad day. What's going on with you? You get what I'm saying? So that's a piece
Greeted
that
with a hug, a
changes, that
smile.
flip the switch. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously we're gonna have it's gonna be conflict between you and your significant other, but just being able to understand we can talk at the same level peacefully and not go back and forth, like that's still peace though. You know what I'm saying? So it's
True.
not okay going into a place where it's just like, oh, I know this, here we go. That's not conducive and it's not peace. But if I can talk to you and have conversations about something that we disagreed on and still be able to, what you want for dinner? That's how, like, that's still peaceful to me.
Right. So would
So
you
that's what I
say
would say as
that
far as
like
peace.
so would you say that a peaceful conflict resolution or just like in an argument, like let's say you guys didn't see eye to eye on something, it kind of got heated, but then you guys ended the subject, or she said something to you that she didn't like that you did, and then you addressed it, and then that's it. Is that all you guys need, is to say this is what upset us and then allow you guys to have the opportunity to either fix that, change that, and or address it, and we just kind of wait and see if that happens versus continuing on with the same conversation over and over again, days in, days out.
Yes and no. It depends on the guy, because
Okay.
because if you wait and the guy is not the greatest, and I hate to call it, but bum, or
Right.
that's just what he's gonna do. You're gonna be waiting forever. But there are some guys out there that want to fix it. That wants to, dang. A lot of times, I think a lot of times women don't be realizing, like, when y'all say something, if we're already hard on ourselves and we want to make you happy, it's probably beating us down more than you beating us down, because that's something that we're constantly thinking. Because if we are really and truly in tune with you, we don't want you to be unhappy. So if you said, hey, you know, mm, hey, you needed to cut the grass and do X, Y, Z, right? So it's like, okay, dang, she shouldn't tell me that, but I'm gonna make sure I do it. And then and the crazy thing is, they might do it and they may say thank you, or they may say, you was right, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it. At that time, they may be mad though, because of the interaction. But for some guys, I would say yes, give them a chance. But other guys, you kind of your partner. You know if they're gonna do it
Right.
or not.
Right.
And if you know
If
they're
they
good
keep doing the
at
same thing
doing
over
what
and
they
over again,
said, then
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
then it's just like there's no point. But if you notice that you can say something and you continue to nag, but you see they do it, I would say one time just take a step back, and you will see how much they appreciate, because they may bring it to you. Oh, you didn't say nothing, but that's them noticing that, okay, you just took a step back.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I think that comes with learning each other's communication style and needs,
Hmm.
you know. Okay. That's a good point. Hear that, women? Sometimes we need to say what we need and then wait a second and just give them a moment. We don't need to keep going in. Or as y'all would
Okay,
say less.
right. Okay, so this is for you. Okay, based on previous relationships, what are some things you feel women could do to make you guys feel more wanted and secure?
So what as us, what do we feel men can do for us
Mhm.
to make us feel wanted
More
and
wanted
secure?
and secure. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Compliments. Compliments go a long way with women, especially when it's from your man. So I once dated someone who was like, I don't need to tell you you look good in that. I don't need to tell you pretty. You should have self-esteem. Okay, I got self-esteem, but every woman wants to be looked at or desired by the person they're with, right? Don't let
Hmm.
me walk out this house looking crazy if you know I look crazy, type of thing.
Right.
Um, because then I promise you, when that woman is out and that next man compliments her, oh, that could go a whole nother way.
Hmm.
Because women, think about it. Women, we compliment each other to our friends. Girl, you look good today. Ooh, you that, right?
Right.
But imagine a woman who is feeling, even though she has confidence and security, your man can still make you feel insecure about the way you look
Hmm.
or how they perceive you or how attractive you are. And that's how some of these men lose a woman from something so simplistic is remind your woman she looks good. So when that next man does, she can say in her head, like, I know my man thinks so too. And just
Right.
tell that other man, thank you, instead of entertaining it. Instead of entertaining it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, and I think that that's like how you said men feel appreciated. Um, when we were just talking about it, I think another thing that us women have to remember too is men do like to be complimented, whether they think so or not. They want to know that their woman cares about them and is interested in them and likes them. I've known many relationships that have ended because a man did not feel desired in a relationship, meaning he was the one always having to initiate sex. He was the one always having to say, I want this or I want that, versus the woman coming to him saying, you know what, you looking good today. You want to go in that room?
Mm.
And so I feel that it can go both ways. But with women, I think compliments go a long way with us. Um, also, what was the rest of the question? I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good. You're good. Insecure.
Okay. Also, we need to feel safe. Uh, a man's job is to protect us. Women, we can feel as hard as we want. We can think we as strong as we are. We could feel whatever we think we are. Okay. You always have these, I'm a woman, I don't need a man, or I'm a woman, I don't need to be protected. Like I said, we have same sex marriages now. So things could be a little different.
Mm.
But in a situation, women always want to feel safe and protected. We walk around at times vulnerable. Most women don't want to get gas no more late at night, things like that. Um, and so I think that that is something that as women need in order to feel good in a relationship, whether that's financial security, feeling protected. Um, if I get sick, are you going to help me, take care of me, things like that. So I hope that makes sense.
No, no, no. It does. It
Uh,
does.
I hope I'm answering the question.
No, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
So that will conclude today's episode. Thank you, Drea, for joining. I appreciate your time and your wonderful answers. Thank you
Thank you.
guys
Thank you.
for thank you guys for joining, open enough to listen, and I will see you guys soon.